What's up, ego hackers? Welcome to the C.S. Joseph podcast. I'm your host, C.S. Joseph. Today's episode, we're going to be talking about the natural mistrust, natural enmity between subconscious developed men, ultimately subconscious developed people, and also unconscious developed people as well. Oh, there's a random cat over there. Actually, it's not random, it's my cat. Lol. Apparently, he just decides to hang out at everyone else's home except mine. So, that's just how he is, I guess. So, anyway, moving on. So, we've been talking about subconscious developed decision making in men compared to unconscious developed decision making. We've been talking about the risks of certain people like Dr. Hugbox, etc. But how do we bridge the gap? How do we actually get subconscious developed men to be able to trust the UD men? Because, and this is very difficult. The reason why it's difficult is ultimately due to how unconscious developed men in general, because they are emotionally explosive, these men are dangerous. They're dangerous. And these men are ultimately the most attractive to women. Subconscious developed men end up playing it safe, so they expect safety and security. This is why they make decisions based on the vibe of things and the vibe of people, and if anyone gives them a bad vibe, they don't want to be around those people. And they make up the majority, 80% of the mental population of men. And so as a result of that, this is ultimately where feminism comes from. Feminism is a direct result of SDism, subconscious developed people, basically. So as a result of that, because you're unconscious developed, you're a soldier ant, of course worker ants are going to look at soldier ants, be like, okay, you're dangerous, you could harm me, I wouldn't be able to take you in a one-on-one fight, so I have to assemble my mob of worker ants to be able to take you down, even though the soldier ant could probably take down most of them before it finally goes down. And one of the biggest fears and obstacles that subconscious developed men have when it comes to unconscious developed men is that they don't want the soldier ants to coalesce. They don't want the soldier ants to come together and form a group. Because when the soldier ants do, they get very, very scared. They get terrified. And it's something that they're all basically really struggling with. Because here's the thing, when soldier ants come together and form groups, they form mafia, they form mobs, they form their own mobs. But their mob is actually centered around sober judgment and decision making. And they become extremely capable and extremely powerful very quickly. An example of this in history is the 300 Spartans going up against the 20,000 men army of King Xerxes at the Battle of Thermopylae. The 300 Spartans, 300 UD men willing to make that sacrifice for the greater good of Sparta. And ultimately, that's what they did. They knew they were going to die, and they knew that they were making a statement, and they made a statement such that the rest of the Greek world finally united against them, and all the SD male cucks who were Greek at the time were finally able to unite and then move forward in that great battle, right? And they won. They won against King Xerxes, and then all of a sudden we have the Book of Esther to thank for that. But as a result, they don't want UD men to coalesce. Yet, when you talk about Ryan Holiday, he's a Stoic, and oftentimes SD men rely on Stoicism to be able to move forward. But in my opinion, Stoicism teaches SD men to remain stupid and remain comfortable in their ways instead of actually getting them to grow their decision making and their critical thinking, which is ultimately what the Socratic method does. This is why I actually maintain that Socratic method is actually in direct opposition with Stoicism, and a lot of people disagree. My thing is that, sure, adopt Stoicism, but don't make it your main thing. Sure, adopt the Socratic method, but don't make it your main thing. You need to have all of these traits and be able to master all of these traits simultaneously. And that's the thing about men. Men have to realize that they have to be, psychologically complete men. So, SD men consistently are scared when unconscious developed men end up coalescing, because they know as soon as the soldier ants, which are usually like lone wolves, as soon as they're no longer lone wolves anymore, it becomes a wolf pack that they just cannot challenge. And they will always be under the boot of that wolf pack no matter what. Here's the issue though. While subconscious developed men understand that UD men are dangerous and are consistently projecting that danger to the point where they themselves are the cause of like all of the problems in society, but they immediately blame the UD men for it. They immediately blame the UD men for fatherlessness, even though fatherlessness is actually caused by subconscious development. They immediately blame the UD men for abortion, even though it's actually supported by SD men, for example. Like all these really bad decisions, because like for example, the boomer generation is a subconscious developed generation. Born out of the safety net of the 1950s, which came as a result of economic booms resulting from World War II and getting everyone out of the Depression. It was the zenith of American culture. That's where boomerism comes from, and boomerism is literally subconscious developed, the subconscious developed psychosis upon the Western world, and that psychosis is about to envelop the entire planet, such that UD people will always be a minority, unless something changes. The only thing that's going to change that is war, honestly. War is the only way. It's like, because like the worker ant perspective, the subconscious developed male point of view is like we need to take our swords and turn them into plowshares. When in reality, we need to be doing the opposite. We need to take our plowshares and turn them into swords. That's what we need to do. Literally. Because the sword is the only way forward. So as a result, like I have no choice but to advocate for war. I don't want to do this, but I don't have a choice, because without war, we're going to lose our planet. Our planet is going to become a slave world. It's going to be hell on earth once more and more unconscious developed people are just disappearing. Because right now, since 2020, only 4% of the population of men are banging all the women, right? And these men, the UDSF men, are the ones who will end up having multiple wives, they'll end up having children, and the SD men will not really have bloodlines, not really. And their bloodlines will be ended from them. And it's the unconscious developed men who will have their bloodlines move forward. The men who have passed the rite of passage, because women are actually attracted to the dangerous men. They are not attracted to the safe and secure man. It's just like when you hear a woman talk about, oh, I'm attracted to a man who's, quote, secure in his masculinity. She's claiming to be attracted to that stoic, strong, silent type who's non-confrontational and ultimately a coward and a pussy, and claiming that is masculine. But in reality, deep down, they really want that explosive, authentic, unconscious developed, subconscious focused male instead, right? And it's because these women are trying to feel safe and secure in their relationship, because subconscious developed women, they didn't have enough attention as children. And so because of that, this is why they demand monogamy in their adulthood, because they want to have access to indefinite male attention, right? They don't want to have to earn that male attention. This is why dating and weddings are ultimately humiliation rituals. Because, for example, in the dating realm, a man is proving himself to the woman, but in marriage, the woman has to prove herself to the man. And they don't like this. Unconscious developed women understand that. Because unconscious developed women understand that the man that they're with has options. She just understands that. This is why men marry down, because if they marry down, what ends up happening is like, hey, I'm marrying down, I'm getting like a 5 out of 10 woman, right? But what this does is this creates a woman who is a little bit more grateful than the typical other girls. And then what that does is that expands his options, because then he's able to take advantage of female mate choice copying, right? And as a result, the more women he has, even if they're lower out of 10s, he will gain access to the 8 or 9 out of 10 women over time, which is true. And then he'll be able to extend his bloodline. This is actually technically biblical when you read the book of Genesis, because this is what happens, right? So, see Jacob, Leah, and Rachel, and their servant girls, because he had 4 wives. So yeah. Anyway, how can subconscious developed men, given all these dynamics, end up trusting the UD men? And this is actually an advantage that effeminate men have. Okay, so female space, for example, which we talked about already, is all about women trying to take from other women. That way they have a little bit more to offer, right? Well, effeminate men who are subconscious developed men kind of need to act the same way. They need to find the UD men, preferably not a lone wolf, not a UD male lone wolf, because the UD male lone wolf is typically a UD-UF male versus, and he's really harmonious, and he's not authentic. He doesn't have his decision-making neural pathways completely there. He did pass his rite of passage. He understands suffering, but he's still just trying to survive in the world. He's not really thriving. So the UDSF men end up having a wolf pack. So what the SD man wants to do, he wants to figure out whether or not he craves that. Does he crave that fraternity? Does he crave that male space? Does he crave other men in his life to sharpen him, to criticize him? Because it is written, correct a fool and he will hate you, the SD man. Correct a wise man and he will love you, the UD man, right? So he's going to get corrected. He's going to have to suffer the pain of getting shat on by the wolf pack. But it's going to make him better. It may even help him prepare to pass a rite of passage, right? And the wolf pack may even actually facilitate the rite of passage so that he becomes a respected male of the wolf pack and then gains the benefits of participating in the wolf pack, right? So an SD male, like if you're looking at a UD man and you don't see that he has friends, you don't see that he has a wolf pack, that's when you should probably keep your distance. The lone wolves, while dangerous still, not as dangerous as the wolf pack men, the UDSF men. The UDUF men, yeah, still dangerous, but they're still trying to find themselves. They're still trying to find a wolf pack of their own. Don't coalesce with those guys. Don't become friends with those guys. Let them stay lone wolves because they're harmonious. And then you might get stuck in what we call harmony hell, where you're stuck being harmonious and you're not able to actually really be your authentic self and you're wearing a mask everywhere you go, right? You don't want to do that, like at all. Like, don't do that. Instead, you need to be willing to engage in your authentic self, and the only way to do that is to be in an environment that you actually can be authentic, and that's what the wolf pack ultimately provides you. So you can trust a UDSF male because there's the wolf pack, because the wolf pack provides accountability. The wolf pack provides leadership. The wolf pack itself is kind of a safety net. The difference is that safety net will hold you accountable to its own standards, and it will not provide that safety net towards you unless you earn your place. And that's the problem. SD men, they get so focused on being comfy and playing their Grand Theft Auto 6 whenever it comes out, if ever. When they do that they end up just being like, hey, let's let's just stay stagnant forever. Let's just stay in our comfies forever. So they don't really need to grow. And then all of a sudden, society falls apart. That's the best part about having a wolf pack. Having the wolf pack means you are going to survive if society falls apart. If there is complete pandemonium. The first 90 days, most people won't survive when society inevitably falls apart. And then you and your wolf pack will survive. And then you will take over the power vacuum of the land, essentially. And that's where it goes. That's how it works. And the warriors, because they have skills, they're going to be around, and then the kings will direct them, according to how to be generative. And then the magicians will cast vision to the king so that the king can move forward in the right direction. And then the lovers will be able to help everyone enjoy life and go in that direction. It's all there, folks. But like subconscious developed men need to realize, yes, you can trust UD men. Stop trying to judge them based on their vibe. Because it's like, for example, like if I walk around in public with my bros and we're all like dressed like Chicago noir, suits head to toe, fedora hats, we have our cigars, we're smoking our pipes, having fun, who gives a shit? And we're just hanging out, doing whatever we want, basically. The subconscious developed men look at us and they have this craving, they have this hunger for that. They have a hunger for it. They want to be a part of something like that. Well, the thing is that they can, because the wolf pack is what it's all about, right? It comes from the book, The Way of Men. You might want to read that. But yeah, it's all about the wolf pack. So understand how these dynamics work. Which, by the way, if you need to find out which cognitive development you are, if you are an SD man or a UD man, go to octagram.me. Take the test. It should tell you what your cognitive development is. Although a lot of the results on it are inaccurate, we are going to be changing that test in the very near future. So just keep that in mind. Pretty soon we're going to have our own AI chatbot with which you'll be able to psychoanalyze yourself and others with in the very near future. So that's pretty cool. I think that's bloody brilliant to be able to have that available for everyone. So also, if you want to get access premium content, school.com/CSJoseph. That's SKOOL.com/CSJoseph. But yeah, SD men need to learn that they absolutely can trust the UD man. They can trust the soldier ants. But you just have to figure out which ones. Don't go for the lone wolves. If you see a UD male who's lone wolf in it, nope. Let him remain the lone wolf. He has to submit to wolf pack, and you need to look for a wolf pack and be willing to participate in that wolf pack's rituals. It's really important. And you respect those rituals. And having that ritual is really, really important. So for example, one of the things for my wolf pack is that everyone has to participate with our political activism locally, and then that's how they earn a challenge coin, for example. And that challenge coin basically signifies that they are a member of the wolf pack, and they're held to a much higher standard for everyone, in the process. So, but yeah, like, that's basically it. That's how you can end up trusting a UD man, because as iron sharpens iron, so is one man to another. You as an SD male are presenting yourself to the wolf pack, looking for membership of the wolf pack, and you'll have to learn how to submit to the wolf pack. And eventually, the wolf pack, as you grow, will probably end up submitting to you, because they'll be there for you in your time of need, provided you are conducting yourself properly according to the social standards set by said wolf pack. Don't go for the lone wolves. And here's the thing, like SD men, it's like, oh, well, I am in a wolf pack, but here's the problem, they're all subconscious developed. You need to learn psychology so you can identify if these guys are implosive or not. Because if they're all implosive, you're not in a real wolf pack. You're just in an echo chamber. If you want a real wolf pack, you got to go for the UD ones, the scary ones, the ones where they go hike a mountain randomly, or they go camping for a week or two, right? Or they expect you to clean and gut an animal, that kind of stuff. Okay? That's how you do it. Where you have to consistently showcase your capability and your skills. So, anyway, folks, I think I hammered that pretty well. Thanks for watching and listening. I'll see you guys in the next episode.